During a revealing sit-down with DJ Academics, famed attorney Drew Findling, known in legal circles as the billion-dollar lawyer, hinted at some major developments in Lil Durk's case. Academics kicked off the conversation by asking whether Durk might consider a plea deal. Without hesitation, Drew shut that idea down, firmly stating, "Absolutely not. We are taking this all the way." He made it crystal clear, they are not backing down or settling. Drew went on to explain why. The case, in his view, is paper thin. According to him, the federal government is trying to build something out of nothing, and their arguments are full of holes. He confidently broke down why the prosecution's claims do not hold up under scrutiny, painting a picture of a legal battle where the defense feels fully in control. With that level of certainty, he subtly suggested that Durk's freedom might not be as far off as some think. Drew Findling laid out the case in detail, pointing out that the evidence stacked against Lil Durk is weak at best. He began digging into the claims the feds were leaning on, especially the use of old rap lyrics, and reached out to people across the music industry for context. It quickly became clear to him that the songs in question were outdated and held no real legal weight. These tracks, he argued, had no business being used as ammunition in court. After gathering the necessary documents and proof to back this up, Drew and his legal team presented their findings to the judge, successfully exposing the flaws in the prosecution's case. The strategy paid off. The judge responded by giving Drew the green light to assemble a solid release proposal for Durk. Soon after, a major update was announced. A judge in Los Angeles has agreed to hear Lil Durk's new bond request on May 8th. His legal team is preparing to present a comprehensive bail package: $1 million in cash, $900,000 in property, an additional $150,000 from an associate, round-the-clock armed security, and full electronic monitoring, all to demonstrate that Durk poses no risk of fleeing. However, just as things seemed to be turning in Durk's favor, the feds pushed back with fresh claims. In a strategic move, they filed new paperwork aimed at keeping him behind bars. According to court documents, prosecutors are now pointing to lyrics from Durk's song Rumors, featuring Gucci Mane, released in February 2022, as well as an unreleased track recovered from his phone post-arrest. They argue these lyrics suggest criminal intent, specifically quoting the line, "I want the one I paid for, we hit your homie," alleging it reflects a pattern of Durk financing violence. Despite this, legal experts remain skeptical. One prominent lawyer compared Durk's case to Young Thug's, noting that both rely heavily on rap lyrics as evidence, an approach widely criticized for being weak and speculative in court. He stated that just like Thug, Durk is still likely to walk free, because the prosecution's foundation is built on lyrics, not solid proof. What most people do not know, though, is that Durk's legal team has one clever strategy still up their sleeve, one they are quietly holding onto for the right moment. Lil Durk's upcoming bond hearing on May 8th is shaping up to be a pivotal moment, with his legal team firmly arguing that he's being punished for simply exercising his First Amendment rights. They believe the case crosses a constitutional line, turning creative expression into alleged criminal intent. But what one of Durk's attorneys revealed next could be the most powerful blow yet to the prosecution's case. The lawyer called out the prosecutors directly, stating that they likely have little to no real understanding of rap music or hip-hop culture, a criticism echoed in many similar cases, including that of Young Thug. The courtroom disconnect between legal systems and the world of rap continues to show, and legal analysts online now strongly believe that Durk's release on May 8th is not just likely, it is expected. But here's the part that stunned many observers. The prosecutors have apparently been relying on edited fan-made videos as part of their argument. These are clips created and posted by YouTubers and Instagram users, not by Durk or his team. A female attorney commenting on the situation emphasized how embarrassing this tactic makes the prosecution look, drawing ridicule from legal professionals and the public alike. Durk's defense addressed this head-on, writing in their motion, "In arguing for Mr. Banks's detention, the government has attempted to hold him responsible for content edited and uploaded by social media users with whom he has no known connection." They also highlighted the shaky foundation of the superseding indictment, particularly paragraph 6, which misuses lyrics from a Babyface Ray song titled "Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy." a track where Durk was merely a featured artist. Betrayal, prosecution's reliance on lyrics taken out of context and edits he did not create or endorse, is being called not only flawed, but constitutionally dangerous. In the track, Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy, Lil Durk delivers a chilling line, "Look on the news and see your son, you screaming no, no." This lyric sent shockwaves through the courtroom after prosecutors tried to connect it to a viral news clip showing Quando Rondo at the scene of a shooting, visibly shaken and screaming no, no over a fallen friend. The implication? That Durk was referencing real-life events in a premeditated way. But Durk's DJ quickly dismantled that theory, presenting the original project files and timestamps, showing that the lyrics were recorded well before the tragic incident even occurred. This key piece of evidence directly challenged the prosecution's timeline and narrative. Still, unwilling to fold, prosecutors made what appears to be their final desperate play to keep Durk locked up. They introduced a massive dump of alleged evidence, which, according to documents, includes over 230 gigabytes of digital material, spanning audio and video recordings, surveillance footage, and more than 20,000 pages of investigative reports. This mountain of data is now being processed for discovery. What raised even more eyebrows is that this batch of evidence reportedly came from someone inside Durk's own camp. An OTF affiliate named Jam is said to have handed it over, flipping on the crew. A recent court update made things even clearer. Federal investigators believe Durk financed hits on 2 individuals, an allegation they are now trying to support, using this newly acquired digital evidence. The first name the feds are focused on is Stefan Mack, the individual allegedly responsible for the death of Lil Durk's brother, D-Thang. The second is a more personal betrayal, OTF Jam, whose baby mother reportedly passed away after Lil Durk found out Jam was secretly wearing a wire. Now prosecutors believe that Jam is the missing link, the key witness they need to tie Durk to all 3 suspected crimes. The turning point came during a now infamous Instagram Live. Viewers watched as Lil Durk suddenly grew quiet, his demeanor shifting. On camera, Jam subtly reached for his jacket collar and whispered something, as if speaking into a hidden mic. It was in that moment, many believe, that Durk realized Jam was wired up. Long before the handcuffs clicked around his wrists, Lil Durk had already begun to sense that something was not right. The energy had shifted. There were whispers that reached him through the street grapevine, subtle behaviors from those closest to him that did not sit well. Durk, a man who had navigated through years of fame, grief, betrayal, and loyalty tests, could read those shifts like second nature. The way people spoke around him, the way certain people suddenly went quiet or got too curious, those were all pieces of a much bigger puzzle. It was not paranoia, it was instinct. Survival instinct sharpened by years in the spotlight and scars. From real-life situations where trust cost people their freedom, or worse, their lives. Word eventually leaked from someone close to his camp, confirming what many suspected. Durk was never caught off guard. He had been watching OTF Jam for a while, quietly putting together a mental map of inconsistencies and warning signs. One source put it bluntly, saying, "Durk's been playing 3D chess this whole time. He knew Jam was going to fold." This was not just a clever metaphor. In the world Durk came from, staying 10 steps ahead was not strategy. It was self-preservation. And as the walls started to close in, it became clearer that Durk had been preparing for betrayal long before it happened. When someone close turns federal informant, it's not just a legal blow, it's a personal earthquake. Jam was not just an affiliate, he was someone Durk once trusted enough to bless with $50,000 on Instagram Live. That kind of loyalty makes the sting even deeper when it's broken. In a rare, emotionally revealing interview, Durk addressed what had been weighing on him. His tone was not angry, it was heavy, almost tired. He said, "I do not even let my best friend know where I live anymore." Those words were simple but powerful. They carried the weight of every broken bond, every phone call gone cold, every sideways glance that made him question someone's loyalty. For Durk, home had become more than a sanctuary. It became a fortress. A place so guarded that even those closest to his heart were kept in the dark, and how could anyone blame him? After all, the betrayal did not come from an enemy or a stranger. It came from within his own circle. Someone who had been close enough to be in the background of important moments. Someone who had celebrated victories with him and now handed those memories over as evidence to the authorities. That betrayal reshaped how Durk moved, how he trusted, and how he spoke to the world around him. In the music industry, especially in rap, trust is already a fragile thing. Add fame, money, and street affiliations to the mix, and you get a recipe for high-stakes deception. For someone like Durk, whose life had already been punctuated by loss, his brother D-Thang, his close friend King Von, the idea of betrayal hits even harder. It forces isolation, whether he wants it or not. The very people who once stood beside him now became subjects of scrutiny in his mind. Jam's cooperation with the feds was not just a legal development, it was emotional trauma made public. It was every fear Durk had tried to keep quiet, turning into courtroom headlines and social media debates. The betrayal was not whispered in private, it was broadcast to millions. And in the middle of it all stood Durk, forced to relive every trusting moment with a man who, in the end, gave up more than just evidence. He gave up brotherhood. Fans could see the shift in Durk, too. His lyrics got more introspective, his interviews more cautious. That fire in his voice remained, but there was now a quiet pain underneath it. Not one of defeat, but of disappointment. The kind of sadness that comes from realizing loyalty is not guaranteed, no matter how much love you give someone. And it echoed in the way he carried himself, less flashy, more grounded. Durk's transformation was not just survival, it was growth. A hard-earned lesson in a world where every mistake could cost you everything. And as his legal team fought for his freedom, the emotional toll played out silently in his demeanor. The man who once let the world into every part of his life was now learning to shut the door, even on the people he once called family. Because when betrayal comes from within, trust dies a slow death. And Durk, wise to the dangers of loyalty, given too easily, had already decided no one gets too close anymore. Not even his best friend. And to make things worse, the same man who allegedly snitched on him, OTF Jam, was once gifted $50,000 by Durk during that very Instagram Live. A gesture of loyalty that now feels like a brutal reminder of how deep betrayal can cut. In the viral clip where Lil Durk hands OTF Jam $50,000 during an Instagram Live, what stood out to federal investigators were not just the two men in the foreground, but the familiar faces lingering in the background. The feds zeroed in on them, eventually identifying some of them as close associates of King Von. These same individuals were later spotted jewelry shopping with Von in another video, painting a clear picture of a tightly knit circle of friends and affiliates. That connection only deepened the scrutiny. With Jam now reportedly cooperating, authorities are stacking yet another murder case, M case, against Durk, this time based on digital footprints and social media activity linked directly to Stefan Mack's death. The feds presented a specific Instagram story as evidence, one posted 30 minutes after Mack's death that read, "For D-Thang, ah-ha." They paired that with another clip from the very next day, Durk laughing during an Instagram Live, as if trying to connect the dots between real-life violence and online behavior. But just as Durk appeared to be nearing a potential release from jail, another bombshell hit his world. Reports surfaced that his longtime partner, India Royale, had allegedly been caught cheating. For someone already facing public scrutiny, legal attacks, and betrayal from inside his own crew, this added a new layer of emotional weight. In a time when loyalty is already scarce, this personal blow cut even deeper. A tweet started the firestorm. Durk's baby mama India was allegedly seen at a party with her hand on another man's leg. Soon after, a clip surfaced, with audio layered on top, that appeared to confirm the rumor. What made things worse was that the footage was reportedly leaked by one of India's own friends, giving it even more credibility. Screenshots began spreading like wildfire, clearly showing the moment in question. By the next morning, India addressed the situation herself. Her reaction was clipped and reshared across social media, sparking debate about her loyalty and timing, especially with Durk still fighting for his release. As expected, the internet circus arrived. 6699 and DJ Academics wasted no time chiming in, offering their opinions in signature bold fashion, both capitalizing on the viral chaos. At the same time, pressure to get Durk out of jail before his album's release intensified. In the middle of all this, a clip of Durk began gaining traction again. In it, he says, "It's better to be low-key with your money. If you can't afford 10 Maybachs, don't buy one." It was a sharp contrast to the headlines surrounding him: calm, mature, and motivational. One viral comment summed it up perfectly. "Anyone else feel like Durk's team is releasing his best motivational, softer moments to show the judge that Durk's influence has always been positive?" That observation would prove true. The strategy appeared to be intentional, and as the legal tide slowly began turning, it seemed to be working.